Hi guys, welcome to another video. In this one I'm going to tell you my biggest luxury mistakes. Now I have sort of done a video like this before, but I thought I would in effect redo it because I've made more mistakes since then, and you would think at my age I would start to learn, but evidently no. Evidently you can make mistakes at any point in time. So let me go through which I believe are my biggest mistakes, and I'm going to finish off with the one that is definitely my biggest mistake. So let's get going. So the first one, the first mistake I made, well, the first one I'm going to talk about anyway, was the Fendi Peekaboo. Now I have spoken a lot about the fact that I didn't own a Fendi bag for such a long time until I bought my Fendigraphy pre-loved, which I will link that up there if you haven't seen that unboxing. But yeah, it was true, I didn't have a Fendi bag. Now I had originally had a Fendi Peekaboo and I'd sold it, and this was way before I started YouTube. So why did I sell it? Well, truth be told, I settled for the Peekaboo because I really wanted Hermes Kelly. That one in particular. So you may have heard this story before. I absolutely was desperate for an Hermes Kelly, and I thought that, like most people in the world, I would have zero chance of ever owning one. And I thought Peekaboo was actually a really good alternative if I couldn't get the Kelly. So where did it all go wrong? Well, it went wrong on two counts. The first count was I really liked the 28 size, which is the one up there. I really like the 28 size. So in the Peekaboo there was a slightly bigger one than that, and there was a smaller one than that. There was the mini and the regular baguette in those days. And yeah, they didn't have an in-between size, and I couldn't decide whether the bigger one was too big, the smaller one was a bit too small. I was umming and ahhing. I ended up settling for the mini, and they had the most beautiful grey. It was pretty much identical to Greta Tan, and it was in the Celleria style, so it was like the pebbled leather. Absolutely beautiful bag. I can't fault it, beautiful bag. But I settled for the smaller size because they didn't do the size that I actually wanted. There was my first mistake. My second, I'm not saying my second mistake, but the second reason why it didn't work out for me was 3 or 4 weeks later, I did get a call from Hermes saying that this bag was ready for me to collect. I had no chance. In my head, there was no chance I would ever be able to get one. So I went ahead and bought the Fendi, and then, as I say, 3 or 4 weeks later I got the call. And obviously both bags are so expensive, and one, I couldn't justify both. Two, I knew that I would be never using the Peekaboo. I would always be going for the Kelly. So yeah, I persevered for a while, and then when I realised I definitely hadn't used it at all, I did sell it. So yeah, a lesson to be learned. Do not settle. Do not settle. It doesn't mean you can't buy on impulse, but what it means is if you're buying on impulse, at least buy with an educated mind and don't settle. So that was my big mistake number one. Okay, big mistake number two was a Lady Dior. I had a Lady Dior in the absolutely beautiful cloud blue, which was like a bluey grey. I'll put a picture here. It was a beautiful bag, a beautiful colour, and craftsmanship, quality, I cannot fault it. I fell in love with the idea of having and owning a Lady Dior, and I love Dior. The customer service, everything about Dior I absolutely love. So I think I wanted to buy something from Dior, and I think again I settled for the best one that they had at the time, in my opinion. And I should have known that those handles were going to annoy me. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. I struggle when things are very jangly, and I also don't like to wear something crossbody if they've got the handle stuck up and they don't go down flush with the bag. So I should have known by even trying that bag on that it wasn't going to work for me. But no, I convinced myself that it was beautiful, because it is. And I probably used it a couple of times. I had it for a lot of years. I think I had it for 7 or 8 years. because I couldn't, yeah, I don't sell bags. I've always said, until recently, I have always said, oh no, I'm not going to sell anything because I don't want to make a mistake and yeah, then regret selling it. Anyway, I think I persevered long enough, 7 or 8 years with that one, to then know that yeah, it wasn't ever going to get used. So it was a mistake because again, I settled for something that wasn't, I knew it wasn't the perfect thing, but I just wanted one, and I think I got carried away. Mistake number 2. Mistake number 3. I've talked about this bag so much. The Chanel Trendy. Again, I'll put some footage here. What a beautiful, beautiful bag. This was my absolute dream bag from afar for so long. I've talked about this before. I'd seen this on a couple of different Instagram pages, on YouTube. I think I'd seen Claire Chanel. She had a beautiful beige colour one. Anyway, I kept going into boutique season after season after season because I really, really wanted one. But the 2 things that put me off every single time, one was it was in lambskin, and I don't really like lambskin, and I much prefer caviar, and they don't do it in caviar, so I was trying to get over the hurdle of the fact that it is lambskin. And secondly, the colour was just never the colour that I wanted. There were always really bright colours. I was just wanting grey, beige, navy blue. Now, they did always do a black, but I have my black classic flap, and I also have a black wallet on chain from Chanel that, to me, yeah, I didn't need another black Chanel bag. So I was looking for, yeah, I don't know, a navy blue, you know my colours. I went into boutique with my daughter and she spotted it on the shelf, and I was, oh, oh my God, that's it. Now, I should have known better because, yeah, you know when you get a sign that it's not meant to be, yet you keep persevering. Now, there is an argument that says that you sometimes have to fight for what you want, and sometimes it's a sign that you should just leave it. Anyway, I had the most trouble paying for that bag. It was so embarrassing. My card wouldn't work, my other card wouldn't work. It then blocked me. I was trying to get hold of the bank. It was sending a code to my husband's phone because he was the lead phone on it because it was a joint account. He was out cycling. I'm trying to call him. He's obviously not getting the call because he's cycling. He then stops, had all these millions of missed calls, wondered what on earth was going on, and then stood literally on the side of wherever he was trying to sort out the bank and get this unblocked. And he was really cross and I was really cross. He was cross because he was trying to just have a bike ride, and he was also cross with the bank for it being so ridiculous. And anyway, the whole thing was a disaster, and it was so embarrassing because all of this time going on, the sales assistant is sort of looking at me as if to say, so you can't afford it. And actually, it wasn't anything to do with that, but you feel like that, don't you? Anyway, I had to walk away and sort out the bank, and she said she'd hold it till the end of the day for me, and eventually I was able to go back and complete the purchase. But it took so long. I think it was a sign. I think it was a sign. Anyway, that bag should have been my dream bag. I was so excited when I got it home, I can't even tell you. And I used it 2 or 3 times. I used it a few times. I just didn't love it. I was so shocked with myself. I don't love lambskin, and it's the last time I will compromise on something like that because I thought it would be delicate, and it is. I've hardly used that bag, and there was, I mean, it wasn't bad, but there was odd signs of wear on it, where other bags I've used so much more and not a thing on them. So yeah, I wasn't impressed with it at all. The hardware scratched really quickly and easily. I don't know, I just felt it wasn't well made, and I was really disappointed. So yeah, moral of that story is do not compromise. Again, do not settle if it isn't the exact thing that you want, because the exact thing will be out there somewhere. So the 4th mistake that I made So again, I think you know what this one's going to be. This is my Capucines, and it is in the MM, which was the PM when I bought it. So again, I got this wrong on 2 counts, and I am really annoyed with myself about this bag because it cost an absolute fortune. And actually, yeah, I'll come on to what I've actually done about it and the consequences of my actions. So I bought this bag on a whim. Now, it was and should be an educated decision, because I love the Capucines, I love Louis Vuitton. The quality, the craftsmanship, everything else was absolutely spot on. But again, I settled because I had put a wish down for my Etoupe Birkin, and I was absolutely obsessed with the colour Etoupe. The time that I put my wish down for the Etoupe Birkin was around the time that my sales associate was leaving Hermes, and he did pass me over to a new sales associate, but in my eyes that was probably the end of my Hermes journey. And you know, instead of getting the one I wanted, I was going to just go out and buy something else, and I bought the Capucines in Gallet, which is beautiful, and it's got the python handle, absolutely stunning. But it was an impulse. I'd never even looked at that bag. You know, I should have waited. I wanted the Birkin. 3 weeks later, I get the call that this is available. So again, I've done the same thing again with Hermes as I did with the Fendi. So again, I just didn't learn. So yeah, there was no way I was turning that down. So again, I had 2 bags, and I know they're not entirely the same, but they are close enough that I would use them at a similar time. And as soon as I got the Birkin, I realised that the Capucines, I should have gone for a smaller size, because the bigger size in the Capucines is so heavy. After all these years, I have finally decided that the Capucines is going to be sold, and actually it has sold. It has gone. That's why I don't have it here to show you. Let me tell you, one in particular online reseller who has stores in London, I'm not saying any more than that, they offered me £900 for it. £900 for a bag that is current retail over £6,000, and it is pristine. There's not one mark on it. It's still got stickers on some of it. Sorry, Meredith. £900. It was laughable. Anyway, you see, I get very cross about these things. So in the end, it's gone, and lesson learned. And my final mistake, and hopefully it is the final one, as in I don't keep doing this, is this one. This is my absolutely stunning, and looking at it on camera, I just think, what is wrong with you? Why don't I love you? Honestly, it is this is the Monogram collection, and this is the East West Monogram Metis. So I'm not fastening this because I don't want to scratch it in any way, because I haven't used this bag. This is the bag that caused all the trouble. So yeah, let me update you on this one. So I bought this. James, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. Honestly. So I bought this when I went to a Louis Vuitton event, and it was for the launch of I think it was the Autumn Winter 23 collection. And this Monogram was part of that collection, and I wanted something from this collection. Let's just say that off the bat. I wanted something in this blue. I love navy blue. So I went down there with the intention of, I don't know which bag, but it'll be Monogram blue. Truth be told, this, in my view, was the best of the ones they had in that collection. So this is the one I bought. It wasn't the one I loved. It wasn't the one that stole my heart. None of them did. This was, I don't want to say it was the best of a bad bunch, because all of them are beautiful, but this was the best one in my opinion. So what on earth is wrong with me? Why is this a mistake? Well, it's a mistake because I don't love it. I don't love the S-Lock. I I've done a video about this. I don't really like the S-Lock. I put up with the S-Lock because it's on certain bags that I like, but it isn't my favourite type of closure, if you like. The Monogram itself is stunning, and I love the gold and everything else. Now, if you saw my previous videos, you will know that the one I ended up bringing home with me ended up being defective. I think they class it as defective, and I'll show some pictures. It wasn't in alignment. The monogram print was slightly off, and it was just slightly not aligned, shall we say. It was all misaligned, and you could see it at the back here. You see how this one is perfectly straight. Anyway, the other one wasn't, and I didn't check it properly in store. I was overexcited. I'd had some champagne. I'd had a lovely day. I didn't check it over properly. And when I got home and properly looked at it, I was like, oh, and once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Anyway, James from LV in Bond Street is amazing, and he just sorted it and he sent me a new one. What I should have done, because I knew by then that I didn't love it, what I should have done is say, actually, can I return it and just give me store credit, because of course I'm going to be buying there. I didn't need a refund, for example, but no, I thought, no, it's probably annoying me just because it was misaligned. When I get a new one, it'll be fine. I haven't used this. I haven't used it because I don't love it. So I'm really, really annoyed with myself with that one, because I should know better than to settle. These bags are too expensive. They are too expensive, and I know now when I put a bag on, when I try something on in store, I know if it's a yes, 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 or if it's a not sure. If it's a not sure, it's a no. If it's a, oh, it could work, it's a no. And that's what happened with that one. It was the best in the monogram, in my opinion. I need to love the bag. So yeah, big mistake. So which out of those is my biggest mistake? Well, I think they're all mistakes in their own right, aren't they? Because yeah, you can look at it that none of them worked out, so they're all mistakes. You can look at it, you could look at the ones I've sold, and you could say, the price I've received for them and work it out that way. And if that was the case, then the Capucines is the worst. Part of me thinks this one is the worst because it's the most recent and I should know better by now. So I think overall it has to be the Capucines in the size. I think it was just an impulse purchase. I didn't look at anything else. I didn't give anything else a chance. I spent a lot of money, on impulse, without even the comfort of knowing I could get my money back if I was really, really wanting to sell it. It's been one of those just learning experiences that I should know better. I really, really should. So I'm really annoyed with myself over it, because I don't generally do impulse buying like that. I usually think things through, research a lot of things, and go and look at things more than once and everything else. Impulses can work. This was an impulse, but it was an educated impulse. So yeah, the Capucines, I think I knew when I was buying it. I think I just knew, and I went ahead and bought it because I wanted something. It's just ridiculous. So I have learned since then. That was a long time ago that I bought that one. So yeah, I think that has to be classed as my biggest, worst bag that I've ever bought. What do you guys think? Let me know the worst bag you've ever bought, and have you still continued to make the same mistakes as I have? We're all human, aren't we? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on another one.